Manchester United have received a fresh new 25 million euros bid for Mason Greenwood, with now multiple clubs coming to the table to try and secure his signature. United looking at a deal for Adam Wharton as a shock replacement for João Neves, plus also an update on Manuel Ugarte and Willy Camboala. These are some of the stories we will be discussing on this afternoon's show. But before we get into that, please do me one small favour. Smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 1,000 likes on this afternoon's show. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel. I'm live every single day at 8:30, 1:30 and 6 p.m. Currently, only 50% of people who watch our videos are subscribed. So if you're one of those people who isn't subscribed, get involved. It's completely free content and it's your best way to keep up to date with all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. So in usual Daily Red Devil fashion, I'm going to start the show off with a question for you. And it's about Mason Greenwood. I want you to get in the comment section now and let me know, how much do you think Mason Greenwood is worth in today's market? And if you want to answer this as well, should Manchester United sell him? It's a double part question. If you just want to answer the first bit, that's fine. But if you want to let me know your thoughts on whether we should sell him, you should also do that as well. I will be talking about Mason Greenwood in a couple of minutes' time, so get your comments in now and we will circle back to that shortly. Okay, so let's move straight on to Manuel Ugarte. This is coming up from Florian Plettenberg, who is, of course, the Sky Sports Germany journalist. And he is reporting that Manchester United are still there trying to sign Manuel Ugarte. He says that more talks have now taken place, but a final decision between the two clubs has not yet been reached. He says that Manuel Ugarte has a contract until 2028. So in relation to Ugarte, the fact remains the same. PSG are still apparently demanding £50 million total package for the 23-year-old Uruguay international. United apparently were hoping to pay closer to 35 million. So there is still a big gap in valuation between what Man United want to pay and what PSG want to sell for. Now, from what I've been told and what I've read, apparently PSG would be willing to accept 50 million total package, including add-ons, with some hard-to-achieve add-ons like Premier League wins, FA Cup wins, whatever it might be. But there still is a big gap in valuation, and Manchester United are apparently still exploring their options. One of the options is, of course, Sofian Amrabat. Had a relatively good end to the season at Manchester United last year. Didn't really get the game time that I think a lot of fans were hoping for. He was mainly played as a left-back and sat on the bench otherwise. But I think he did do quite well towards the tail end of the season. And apparently Man United are set to make a decision this week on whether they'll sign him on a permanent deal. Fiorentina have made him available to Manchester United for 12 million. Amrabat wants to join Manchester United. He's not currently negotiating with any other club, and he only has 1 year left of his contract. So Fiorentina are obviously aware that their situation is either they sell him now or they lose him next year for free. And maybe there is a world where Man United just go for Amrabat and don't sign Manuel Ugarte. That is a possibility, because 50 million versus 12 million is a massive difference, isn't it? Let's be clear. Whereas if, say, Casemiro was sold, which could well still happen, then maybe Manuel Ugarte for 50 million sounds a little bit more plausible. But it's just whether Manchester United think they can budget 50 million for Manuel Ugarte right now, because that's what PSG are demanding, when they have that option of Sofian Amrabat, who obviously is a bit older, probably doesn't have an as high a ceiling as Manuel Ugarte, but knows the club, knows the manager, has been here before and had a relatively good loan spell when he was here from Fiorentina last season. But if you want to let me know on that one below, what do you think Manchester United should end up doing? If you could only pick between Ugarte for 50 million and Amrabat for 12 million, what would you go for? Obviously, we don't have an unlimited budget this summer, so signing Ugarte for 50 million might mean that we can't buy a left back, for example, or it might mean that we can't buy another centre back. So you have to think about that when you're giving me your answer. But obviously, make sure to get in the comments and let me know your thoughts on that below. I want to move over to Adam Wharton now, who is obviously a very, very talented Crystal Palace, currently plays for Crystal Palace. He moved from Blackburn in February this year for a fee of around 21 million euros. 20 years of age, obviously got called up to the England team alongside Kobe Mainoo. He is a specialist CDM, and obviously he had an unbelievable season for Crystal Palace in the last Premier League. And the story this afternoon from Manchester Evening News is that apparently Manchester United are considering making an offer for Adam Wharton. They see him as an alternative option for João Neves, who is apparently deemed too expensive for Manchester United to go ahead with. For anybody who's unaware, Man United made 2 bids for João Neves, one for 59 million and another for 65 million, both of which were rejected by Benfica. Benfica are saying either you pay the release clause, which is £102 million, or we don't sell him. PSG are apparently in the race for João Neves and willing to pay his release clause. So João Neves to Manchester United, I would be absolutely shocked if that happened, because where are Man United going to find £102 million from? It's just not realistic. Whereas Adam Wharton, obviously, maybe not as an exciting name. Maybe he is. Maybe you're hearing this and thinking that sounds incredible. But yeah, I think he'd be a good deal. I do. I think he'd be a really, really good player. I'm not too sure what Crystal Palace would be asking for. They're obviously going to want more than what they paid for him, like clearly. So I would say his value is probably 30 to 40 million pounds, something like that. And he would be an interesting option. Like, imagine Kobe Mainoo, Adam Wharton, and Bruno Fernandes. Like, you've got two players there who could be at Manchester United for the next decade, if not longer, in Kobe Mainoo and Adam Wharton. So you are building for the future with these types of signings. And obviously, he is English. Would comply with the homegrown quota and all the rest of it, which is a massive tick box for a lot of the top clubs. So it's an interesting name to be thrown into the mix. I think he is an interesting option instead of João Neves because of obviously the price and the money involved with the João Neves deal. But is he of the same level as João Neves at this moment in time? I'm not entirely sure, but obviously, both of them are very, very young players. Like, João Neves could come to United and flop and 100 million's gone. Whereas I think there is a little bit more guarantee that a player who's obviously come to the Premier League in January, February and done unbelievably well for Crystal Palace would probably settle better. So, yeah, you can let me know in the comments, though, if you had to pick between João Neves for 100 million and Adam Wharton for 40 million, what would you go for? Let me know your thoughts. The next story I've got for you is on Mason Greenwood. But before we get into that, if you have enjoyed today's video so far, please smash a like on the video. Let's try and see 1,000 likes on today's show. And if this is your first time watching, then please do make sure to subscribe. I'm live at 8:30, 1:30 and 6. Make sure you get involved. It's completely free content and it would be great to have you on the channel. Okay, let's move over to Mason Greenwood then. So this story's been reposted by Fabrizio Romano, but the actual quote is come from the Lazio president. So again, this is a direct quote from the president of a football club. It's not a journalist putting out some crap story. It's a real story. So the Lazio president says, "I have just offered 25 million euros plus add-ons and a 50% sell-on clause to Manchester United for Mason Greenwood." Okay. Obviously, we know that Man United accepted a bid from Marseille last week of about £27 million. So this Lazio offer is less than what Marseille offered. He goes on to say that several clubs are trying to enter the race just to disturb us and make the deal collapse. He says that after Juventus, also Napoli have done the same. So he's effectively claiming that not only Marseille have made a bid, but that also Juventus and Napoli have made a bid. And as I said, this is coming from the president of Lazio. There's no reason why he would say Juventus and Napoli have made a bid if they haven't. Like, why would he put that story out there? So as it stands at the point of recording this video, we've got bids from Marseille, Lazio, Napoli and Juventus, all believed to be around the £25 million mark, give or take. Obviously, each club have offered different amounts of money. Marseille's apparently the highest at around 26.8 plus add-ons. But as I said at the beginning of the video, I want to know from you, how much do you think Mason Greenwood is worth in the current market? Let me know below. And also let me know if you think he should be sold. Let me know your thoughts on that. It does look like, taking all personal opinions away, it does look like Mason Greenwood's time at Manchester United is coming to an end. I think that's probably clear to see. He's not part of the pre-season training camp. He's not travelled today for the game against Rosenborg. He's not even travelling. He's not even training with the under-21s or anything. He's apparently still on what they're calling holiday until he finds his next club. So he's effectively just waiting at his house in Manchester to be told where he's moving to. I think Mason Greenwood at Manchester United is effectively done, but it's now just all about getting the most money for the player effectively. And that's obviously what I've asked you to tell me. How much do you think he is worth? It'll be interesting to see where he ends up. I think now that, names like Napoli and Juventus have been thrown into the mix, like, that's pretty big. If I was Mason Greenwood and I heard Juventus and Napoli wanted me, I would probably jump at that opportunity. Champions League football, playing in a very, very good clubs. So yeah, we'll keep you updated on that one. But as it stands, Lazio have just made a bid of 25 million euros for Mason Greenwood. I'm not sure at this stage whether it's been rejected or accepted. I think a very important matter will be where Mason Greenwood actually wants to go. So yeah, I guess they're just getting all the bids in, and then they'll speak to Greenwood and say, like, which option do you like the most? And then we'll probably get the here we go, and he will leave. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on that one as and when we get more news. And then the final story for you is on Willy Campoala. He has completed his move to Villarreal today. There's pictures of him holding the shirt. 11.5 million euros, including add-ons. He signed until 2029, but Manchester United have a buyback clause and a sell-on clause. So if Willy Campoala goes to Villarreal and does well, we can bring him back in the future, which is obviously really, really good. So I wish Willy Campoala all the best. I think he has bags of talent and bags of potential, and I hope that he, fully utilizes that potential and goes on to be one of the best in the world. But yeah, I'm going to wrap the video up here. It's just a short one to bring you guys the lunchtime news. Please make sure to smash a like before you go. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. This has been Daily Red Devil. Have a lovely day, everyone, and I'll speak to you all a bit later. Bye for now.